I started on Etsy at the end of 2023 and wandered through the darkness for months. After a ton of trial and error, I eventually hit months like this, selling digital AI art files that buyers download and print at home. As much as the people around you might try to tell you to quit chasing your dreams, building an Etsy business is actually extremely doable. And by following the steps we cover in this video, those same people will all wonder how you make more money and have more time than the rest of them. I'm definitely not the best Etsy seller in the world, but in my opinion, selling AI art as digital wall art is one of the most underrated paths to financial freedom out there today. It's a business model that I think is still in its early stages, where sellers can get in and just crush. But in this video, I want to explain something that I really wish I would have had back when I started. A high-level roadmap of how to win with this business at each of the different steps. This is a framework I'm ruthlessly stealing from Hormozi called Scale. And it's a full guide on how to go from $0 to $10,000 to $100,000 or even $1 million business in just 5 steps. So let's get right into it. This Scale system is actually a 5-part acronym, starting with S. To build a business on Etsy that finally allows you to breathe because you're not bogged down with a 9-to-5 job or an endless to-do list pulling on your attention, you first need to begin with the S in Scale, which is simply start. You just need to start. This almost sounds silly to include in the roadmap, but I can tell you from personal experience, this might honestly be the hardest part of the entire process. We all have so much trash in our head that gets baked into us in our social circles and society, like the fear of judgment or failure or what other people will think of us if we try to put ourselves out there and start a business. And let me hit you with a hard truth. You might start an Etsy business tomorrow, but you probably won't be a millionaire tomorrow. It takes time. But while you're growing from the outside, it looks like you're making zero progress at all, or maybe even going backwards since you're investing in software, tools, or education. You'll do your best to blow up with a best-selling listing, but you're going to run into failures and flops. But please believe me when I say that these failures are actually the leading indicator of success. The sadness, loneliness, and the feeling that you're a failure are the signs that you're on the right track. Honestly, it's the moments where you feel like everything is easy that you should be fearful of. If any of you know my story, I could have been a programmer for the rest of my life. I was good at it, it was easy, and I could have just coasted through my day because I had become so proficient or good at writing code. But instead, I decided to go all in on an Etsy business that I literally knew nothing about, and it was a total slap in the face for months. Honestly, the entire first year. But that's why it's called growing pains, not growing pleasures. If it hurts, it means it's building something inside of you. Maybe it's building your character, or maybe it's building a specific skill, but either way, that pain is the indicator of success. It's a prerequisite. Now, today, there are courses and videos online that can help make it easier, but I just want to say that the hardness means it's working. And just as a side note on this, it's your life. So don't let other people's opinions stop you from doing what you want, and especially not from achieving your dreams and goals. So step 1 of Scale is start. And if you choose to start your own Etsy business and start cranking with digital products, that means setting up Midjourney, downloading some mockups to use for your listings, and starting to learn the ropes. I'll plug the free AI Art Sellers Collective community here since we include a mini course on setting everything up, plus a mockup pack of 10 free Photoshop files you can use. But hey, you're the captain of your own ship, so you're welcome to do whatever you want. Now, after you get a listing or two out and you're starting to get a feel for Midjourney and Etsy, then we move to the second step in Scale, which is compound, C. That simply means do more. So if you posted 2 listings, now post 20. If you were making 3 or 4 Midjourney art designs each day, turn that into 30 or 40. This is the step where you evolve from a beginner into an advanced designer simply from repetitions. Courses and videos can teach you a ton, but your first 50 art designs will teach you 1,000 times more than any video can. And that's coming from a guy who makes these videos. I'm just trying to be real and share the actual steps that worked for me when I started out, and even still today. Now, as you're doing this compounding step, you'll learn a ton. For example, you'll start to learn the best style levels that make your best looking designs, you'll learn the better ways to prompt and how to set up mockups to make your listings look premium, and much more. At that point, that's where you move onto the third step in Scale, Augment. This is where you start to trade a bit of quantity for quality. Maybe you've learned new ways to prompt, like including famous artists or better artistic keywords, or maybe you're getting a few visits and sales and starting to dial in a system that's been getting the best results for your store. Either way, these skill improvements from the compounding step are what you apply in the augment step. Like I said, lessons like these become so much more ingrained from learning by doing, and they build a much wider foundation to expand on later. And that brings us to my personal favorite step in this roadmap, step 4, leverage. The leverage step means at this point, we've got our game plan dialed and we know what to do, but now it's time to tune into the how. That means leveraging new tools like automation, better systems, or other ways to get more for what we put in. If you follow any of my stuff, that means using automation tools like Tempest to turn your art designs into 10 mockups and 5 cropped and upscaled images on autopilot. And then using Downpour as a portal to drag and drop those files into and have them upload to Etsy all in the background. There's a reason I'm not mentioning these tools until step 4. We want the automation to amplify your already strong product skills. If you don't know how to make anything a buyer would actually purchase on Etsy, it doesn't matter how automated your system is. You need to go back to the compound and augment steps to get the fundamentals down. Then you can use the automation as a megaphone to amplify your skills. At this step, I take full advantage of ChatGPT for titles, tags, descriptions, and as much as possible for your business. But since you spent the time getting started manually, now you know what to look for and how to guide these AI tools to actually make good writing that you know will sell on Etsy. We want the leverage to amplify your existing skills, not the other way around. However, you're still constantly learning, even at the automation step. And that brings us to the very last step in the scale roadmap, expand. This is where we transition from better to new. For example, if you've been building your oil painting art shop for this whole time, maybe you expand to sketch designs. Or maybe you start to add art bundles, which are a completely new product line for your shop, but because you've built such a strong foundation and systems, you have the bandwidth to add something new without sacrificing the current parts of your shop. Maybe you could start experimenting with Etsy ads or Pinterest, or maybe you start creating your own mockups with Midjourney from scratch. Either way, this is where you get to start thinking like a business owner, because you've dialed in the fundamentals of the business and you now have a well-oiled machine that simply works for you in the background. And hey, if you just want to kick your feet up and let your business run while just maintaining it a few hours a week, that's fine too. That's the whole point of steps 1 through 4, to build your skills amplified by strong systems that allow the business to work on its own. So let me know in the comments what stage you're at, and if you're struggling to graduate from one stage to the next, what I can do to help. If you are interested in starting just a few steps ahead, I would recommend checking out the free AI Art Sellers Collective in the description. It's fully free and it has a mini course to get you started a lot faster than when I stumbled around in the dark on my own. Plus, there are a few automations in there to help with your leverage. But if you really want to level up your shop, check out the full AI Art Sellers Collective and get access to Tempest and Downpour to fully automate your shop and achieve that financial freedom in a fraction of the time. Let me know if you found this video valuable. I know it's a little different than most, but even if it's helpful to just one of you watching this, then it's totally worth it. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one.